Let's talk about piston ring compressors and the different types that are out there. There are so many, and there is a huge difference between them. And so I'm going to give you guys my advice, especially that most of you are probably building an engine for the first time, and there's a few choices. A lot of people want to just borrow stuff, which is fine. A lot of people on the other end of the spectrum are willing to just, spend $10,000 on tools that they'll only use once. I'm kind of a middle of the road guy with that. So let's go over the basic types. You have this type. This type sort of ratchets down and it encapsulates the piston. And I don't know if you can see that, but it squeezes down on these rings. And so in order to get this to go in the block, you need to make these rings the same size as the bore diameter, and then slide them in because it's an exact fit. This style is trash. Don't use this style. No matter what you're doing, don't do it. It's absolute garbage. You won't have good results. What will happen is this will have a tendency to get sucked into the top of the bore, and it's just terrible. These don't work. I'm sure people use them. They're like $3 or $4. That should be your first example of why they're trash. I've used these before. I've actually built whole engines with these. Don't do it. It's not worth it. If there's anything you want to spend your money on the entire engine build, anywhere where you shouldn't, lapse and spend $1 where you should spend $5, it's your piston ring compressor, because you can screw up your whole engine rebuild in just 5 seconds with this piece of garbage. So don't use that. Forget about it. All right, the next one up the tier of piston ring compressors is this one. I hate this style. I think it's garbage. I don't like this style. They don't work super well for me. A lot of guys, this is what they use, so good for you. Basically what happens is this goes around the piston. It's very quick, which is probably why most people like it. And it's adjustable. There's a kit here. You can see this looks unused. Nobody cares about this style of compressor. This goes around the outside of the piston, and then it tightens it down like that. And then in theory, you should be able to just set that baby on there and give it a whack, and it'll go right in. It doesn't. These also kind of suck. If you use it right, they don't suck. But all it takes is one little mistake with this, not having it set tight or having it set too tight, not having this clinch down tight enough, or having it set too tight will cause it not to work right. Getting this a little off kilter. I just don't like this style. I wouldn't use this style ever. The next style up, in my opinion, now people are going to say, whoa, you have these in the wrong order. This should be here, like this. No, I've had a lot better results with this style. The reason why I have better results with this style is because it has corrugations. And what this does is this keeps it from falling or wanting to be sucked down into the piston, the bore itself. So this is not ideal. This is a last resort. This is the only thing I can find for a rare piston size. If you're building like a 283 or something, you're just going to be like, oh, well, use the old corrugated piston ring compressor. It'll do the job. It will. It's good to have around. This is a school tool. This thing has taken some abuse by a lot of 15-year-old kids, and it still works. Look at it, it's got a dent in it. It still works, and it still works well enough to where I would use it if I had to. All right, now we're going to get into actual piston ring compressors for people who don't want to ruin their engines. So for a little bit more money, now not even that much, this is a Summit brand tapered piston ring compressor. Years ago, I believe Wiseco, I have a Wiseco over here, they might have been the first ones to do it. This is a perfect taper, meaning you don't have to compress the rings. You just slide the piston through this and it goes in. It's foolproof. This one is adjustable. It has this big hose clamp and it has a relief cut here. And it's adjustable from 4 inches to 4 inches and 90 thousandths. That's what it says anyway, which seems like very little adjustment. This one is kind of the warhorse because 4-inch is small block Chevy, 430 over, 440 over, 460 over. This is mainly what we rebuild in the shop. So you can see it has big deep gouges from kids screwing up. It still works. It's still better than all of these times 10. Now, what I personally use on engines that I build is a newer one. If you're going to build an engine, this is one I use to build my LS. Buy one that's not adjustable. Buy one that is for your bore size. Most of the time, you're only going to build one engine. Most people watching this video, you're going to build 1 or 2 engines your entire life, and that's going to be it. Why not spring for the compressor? Throw it away when you're done. If this is $50, I think these are like $30 sometimes, maybe they're like $40. What's $40 in a $5,000 engine build? It's nothing. You might as well not borrow this from your neighbor and ruin, break a piston ring or ruin your deck surface. Just spring for that extra, couple bucks and buy one exactly for your engine. So when you order piston rings on Summit, it'll pop up. Like people who bought piston rings also bought this. So just buy it. Just spend the 30, 40 bucks. This is tapered. There's no adjustment. The reason I say this is better than this is more useful. Yeah, you can use this on a 4-inch, 4-inch 30 over, I think I already went over it. You could even get away with building a 396 with this because you could do you'd be close on its adjustment. But anyway, this you could get 4 or 5 different engines out of different sizes. You could do it 100 times before it wears out. This is only one. You can't mess this up because it takes you out of the equation. It takes the setting of this out of the equation. And how you set this, and this is the one I think I'm going to use for this engine, how I like to set it is just with a good pair of calipers. This should be set at 30 thousandths over. So 4-inch, and yeah, this one's already set at 30 thousandths over. So this is 4 inches and 30 thousandths. So this will go right into this engine right here in a minute, and I'll start installing pistons with it. This one was for my LS1 build. I didn't have to set it. I just put the rings on the pistons and put the pistons in. And I'll show you how that goes a little bit later in the video, but it's really great. Please get yourself a tapered ring compressor. Spend the extra money. I gasp when I see guys building engines they care about with this or this or this. Just spend the extra 20 bucks. It's well worth it.